Hey, welcome back to the Real Reset. How's it going for you? If you've been following along, we are on week 3 of our Real Reset warm up. And if you tuned in last week, you know exactly what that means. If you didn't, don't worry, you can go snag that episode. But essentially, we are getting our mind and our body and our rhythms in a place for a really awesome reset. And I feel so passionate about this because I am extreme. And when I feel off or something like isn't right, I tend to want to like dive all in, all or nothing. And so I get in this like, I'm going to redo everything. Like I remember being, gosh, maybe sixth grade. And it was coming up against New Year's. And I remember like being in the shower, washing my hair. And I have this vivid memory of thinking, this is the year I change everything. I'm going to go back and people aren't even going to know who I am. And I was really motivated and I had the best of intentions because I was trying to better myself. But I remember starting the school year and like, nothing had really changed. And I felt disappointed in myself. And what's interesting is that mentality has kind of replayed in many different areas of my life over the years. And I see it happen specifically in our health journey. And we feel disappointed then when we get to, in that case, it was sixth grade, the first start of sixth grade in January. And I didn't like live up to my own expectations. And so I kind of thought, well, what's the point? And I let all of my goals slide. And so what I've learned over the years, just personally and watching it unfold with the beautiful, amazing women I get to support, is that we need this warm up to our reset. We have to lay some groundwork. And that's exactly what we're doing here. And then on September 2nd, we are meeting live. I love it when we do these things because I get to talk to you guys in real time. And we're going to be actually laying out the reset curriculum. I'm so excited. Reset actually stands for something. And we're going to walk through that together. I cannot wait to do it with you. But I'm actually doing this reset with you in real time. So I also am coming off a crazy summer and like so ready for routine. My kids start school on Monday and I could not be more ready for a shift in schedule. And my body's feeling that. My biofeedback is telling me like, Jess, the pants are tight, your bowel movements are off, hormones feel wonky, like it's time to make some changes. And so over the past few weeks, that's exactly what I've been doing. And my instinct is like to jump all in, but I gotta tell you, like the first week, I just started with getting back in the gym. I went twice. And it was horrible. I was so out of shape because I literally took about a month off. But I did it, And then the next week I went 3 times. And so this week I'm just feeling better. And suddenly those squats are starting to feel more familiar, but it's taken some time. And then along the way, I've started to add some things. And so this week, what I did is what I call a nutrition calibration. And this is something I do with all of my students inside the academy. And that's where we actually just look at what we're eating and calibrate it against what our nutrition needs are. So for me, I logged my food in our app and calibrated that against my own assessment. And I was like, oh, no wonder, right? I'm eating like a teenager. And so I was able to look at that. And then I've set some goals and intentions around that this week. So these are the kinds of things we do to warm up for a reset. And today I am so excited because we are actually talking about something I feel deeply passionate about. And it is taking on the day before it takes on you. This is a core part of the work I do with my students inside the academy, but I think it's great for all of us as we are warming up for the reset. So it's one tool, very simple, very accessible, and absolutely life-changing. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome to the Fuel Her Awesome show.
As we come off of a busy summer and step into a new season, I think we're all looking for a little reset. But what if this was the moment you actually broke the all or nothing cycle? Imagine waking up with energy regardless of the season you're in and feeling not just comfortable, but confident in your body, confident enough to wear the outfit and finally understand how to balance taking care of yourself so it isn't selfish, but it actually allows you to fully show up for the people that you love. That is exactly why I created this podcast, The Real Reset. Together, we'll unpack why what used to work isn't working anymore, the biggest lies we've been told about weight loss, nutrition, and hormones, and how your body has been communicating to you all along. Because, my friend, your body isn't broken, it just has a story to tell. You'll find new podcast episodes dropping every week this month, but that's just the beginning. Together, we're creating a reset that goes beyond the all or nothing approach, a rooted reset built to last even through the holidays. You'll find that here in the series through the resources sent to your inbox and in our live Real Reset Masterclass happening on September 2nd. Be sure you're following along and get all the resources sent straight to your inbox by joining the reset. You'll find the link to join in the show notes. Because, my friend, it's time to reconnect, restore, and reclaim. Your real reset starts now.
Okay, so are you ready for this incredible tool? Guys, this is life-changing. So this is something that, like I said, is easy, accessible, and absolutely life-changing. And it is that of the simple act of journaling. Now, I know you've heard this before. And you're like, wow, Jess, groundbreaking. We've all heard it before, but I want to invite you to actually do it. And I have a few twists that I want to give you to make it something that's going to be impactful and really ramp up your empowered eating journey. Okay, so if we think of journaling, when I think of that, like sometimes I think, time suck. I don't have time for that. It feels like a lot of work because, oh my gosh, like the act of writing, I don't know what happened to my handwriting, but it's not good. And I think because my brain is processing so fast that my hand like cannot keep up with it. But one of the things I am learning about journaling is that there is actually a lot of psychology behind putting pen to paper and allowing your thoughts to be a little bit slower. And so why I'm feeling so passionate about this is there's some really interesting research, which I'm going to go over here in a second. But secondly, that it is something we can incorporate into our morning routine and our morning rhythms that really sets us up for the day. One of my sayings is, take on the day before it takes on you. And this was a little like golden nugget God gave me very early on in motherhood because I was finding myself with no time. Like I remember being at the gym and one of the trainers came up to me and said, Jess, you seem stressed. Do you meditate? And I was like, no, when am I going to meditate? Like I have little tiny humans crawling on me all the time. And he goes, all you need is 10 minutes a day. And I like had this lump in my throat and the tears started welling up in my eyes because at that season of life, I thought, I do not have 10 minutes. Like I don't know where to find 10 minutes in a day. So there was a season of that. And with this beautiful door that was open to me was early mornings. And guys, I got to tell you, when I started getting up early, I was exhausted, but I was exhausted no matter what. So I kind of decided, I'm going to be tired either way. I may as well be tired and wake up just a little bit earlier and give myself this gift of the morning. And then what happened is I set my alarm like 10 minutes earlier, 15 minutes earlier, 30 minutes earlier. And that ritual and routine became so dang rewarding that I started waking up going, I don't care if I'm tired. Like this is my hour. This is when I get to sit in the quiet and the space. And that mantra came to me, just take on the day before it takes on you. Because I do think we have this long list of what has to get done in a day, demands, and then constant things being thrown at us. We are overstimulated and oversaturated. And so there's nothing to me more precious than starting that morning with nothing. I don't reach for my phone. At least I try really hard not to. Sometimes I do. And then I'm like, what are you doing, Jess? You didn't wake up early to get on Instagram. But we got to resist some of that like autopilot mode and just be in our own space and calmness. And so I have been doing this for years, but recently I have reintroduced journaling. And I've been journaling kind of on and off for years. I've always been a journaler, but I recently started doing this this program that I'm working through where the challenge was to write 3 pages every morning. Every morning. And so I was like, okay, I can do that. The first morning, I'm like, no problem. It goes through. Second morning, I'm going through. Third morning, I'm going, I don't have this much to say. And I start writing things like, I don't know what else to write. And I just keep going. But what happened over time is when I had taken enough space on the paper to process what was happening in my very busy, very chaotic mind. Sometimes it feels like a whole theme park is happening up in my brain. I had processed it and I had created space to where now I could start to think creatively again. And what was so fun is these morning pages, like as I'm working through them and I'm getting to like, page 1.5, because I processed everything in my head and I have nothing less. So then I start like writing poems. I haven't written a poem since, I don't know, middle school, since my teacher assigned me in high school. I don't remember. But I started writing this like funny little poem about something I was stressed about. And by the end of it, I'm laughing because I have this cute little poem that rhymes. And in my head, I'm like singing to a little rap song in my head. I like, what? This is all before 5:30 a.m. And what was really cool about this is it quieted my inner critic because I had processed things. And then it opened room for creativity and new thinking. And from there, I was able to start playing again. And I think so much of our health journey is reconnecting with the art of play and curiosity and creativity, because we get so bogged down by, I got to do the things, I got to eat the protein, the list of what we have to do in the perimenopausal years is like, it makes me want to pull my hair out. It's overwhelming. And then on top of that, we have so many responsibilities, really high expectations of ourselves. So this act of just like playing, filling space on a page where I had no agenda, I just had to do the 3 pages. Talk about amazing. And so then I got curious. I was like, is this like in my head? Is this just me? Because I find this to be life-changing. Like it's completely changed journaling for me. So I dove into the research and I want to pull some of it for you. Okay, there was a study. This original study was done in 1986, and it was on college students who had experienced some sort of trauma and were going to the health support center for therapy. So what this researcher did was he had them journal about their experiences for 15 minutes a day. So he did a time cap or a time period instead of like a number of pages, 15 minutes a day, 4 consecutive days a week, and then tracked how often they were voluntarily going to their therapy sessions. And what they found is that over a 6-month period, the folks and the students who were sitting there journaling for 15 minutes a day, they had better immune markers, lower blood pressure, and went to the student health center half as many times as the controls. Isn't that wild? So what he found was this emotional disclosure. It lowers the physiological cost of suppressing those emotions. And I've seen this play out time and time again with my students. Like I was working with a gal just yesterday, and she's learning to take up more space, aren't we all, right? Learning to take up more space in her relationships and at work. And there was a situation that upset her. And instead of like suppressing it, she actually went and told that individual, you hurt my feelings, this upset me. And we have some goals that we're working on with her food. And so she walks me through the whole scenario. And then I go, hey, I'm just curious, like, did this impact your eating at all today? Like, do you notice anything? And as she's sitting there, like walking through her brain, going, what did I eat? She goes, oh my gosh, I ate. And she had hit her goals. She didn't even realize it. And so what was interesting about this, and I think this to be so true when it comes to our food journey, is we have the information, we know what to do with food, but oftentimes it's our story, it's our emotional blocks, it's our weight of what we're carrying from everything going on around us that makes eating 3 meals or eating that much protein really, really hard. It's like food is easy, life is hard. And because life is so hard, it makes food hard. But she processed her emotions in real time with that person, and it actually made her food a lot easier. And so that's what this study saw. It was like if they actually processed their emotions, it reduced the emotional weight that they were carrying, and it helped them to release some of it. So the researcher dove in more and was like, is this because they're letting it go, or why is this writing so helpful? And he found that participants who found writing helpful mostly described gaining an understanding of what happened to them, not emotional release, which I was like, oh, that actually makes a lot of sense, because sometimes the release isn't enough. We actually need insight. And this is something I have found absolutely to be true in my own journaling, is that when I'm forced to slow down, pen to paper, write out what I'm thinking, it slows my thoughts down enough that I can start to separate from them and get a little bit more insight. And that's what this researcher found. So I love this when I'm like, oh, it's not just in my head. Like this is legit stuff here. So the journaling turned fragmented, intrusive memories into a coherent story, and it became about understanding the mechanism, not just venting. Here's something really cool. Further research on this has found that
I hope you're loving the episode, but I wanted to pop in just to remind you that this podcast is actually just the start. We are sending all the resources straight to your inbox for all of those who are inside the reset list. And don't forget, save your seat September 2nd, where we will be gathering live to talk about how this reset is real because it's rooted. All right, my friend, let's get back to the podcast.
Further research on this has found that it's not just the emotional insight and release that is helpful. There's actually a ripple effect. So effects show up in how you function, interact, not just in like your therapy or your nutrition visits. So they found students who wrote on emotional topics had improved grades in the following months. Laid off professionals found new jobs faster. Staff who wrote about emotional topics had lower work absenteeism than control. So here's how I take this unresolved emotional turmoil that we carry from everything in our day. It's kind of like this background tax that's just like holding us back. I think of Eeyore. Do you guys remember Eeyore and how he just had that cloud and he would try to smile, but the cloud just like darkened him. And I think that's what happens with these unprocessed emotions. So if you're like me, I mean, I am a highly emotional female. I'm laughing because, I mean, literally 2 days ago, because I'm in my PMS phase, I was doing my thing again where I dip. It's because I know my hormones are changing. I can like logically understand what's happening, but the feelings are so big. And my husband looked at me and he goes, you're spinning, aren't you, babe? And I'm like, yes. It's all crashing down. And I'm like, I know. Yeah, I feel so exposed. So I pulled out this journaling technique. And this time I did it at night. I just wrote it all out. And my venting turned into processing, turned into questions, turned into prayers. And as I closed that journal, I just laid it down and said, God, this is in your hands. This is what I'm thinking. Like help me to sleep peacefully and wake up tomorrow. And sure enough, woke up the next morning with a fresh mind and much better state of mind and was able to walk through it all. So since that 1980s study, over 200 studies have been done across different populations on this exact technique. But the active ingredient in this entire process is the narrative reconstruction. And I think there is no better way to do this than with journaling. Now, I know ChatGPT has become our new therapist, and I am not going to say I never do that. I mean, I'm definitely in the car talking to chat, getting some advice, but there is something precious and priceless about the quiet mornings with no technology, just you, just your God, just your processing, and the power in coming to the insights on your own. That's where we have roots that are grown. And in this reset, I'm all about roots. And so as we are working through this, I want to invite you to commit to some form of journaling in the morning, whether it's 3 pages, whether it's 10 minutes, whatever you have capacity for, 5. Maybe it's only in the bathroom. Like maybe you're in that season where you've got little ones crawling all over you and you literally don't have 10 minutes. So it's like, you're going to go to the bathroom and lock the door. Dad does it. You can do it too. But give yourself that gift to put pen to paper and allow your own brain to process, feel whatever emotion you're carrying, and just long enough that you can separate it from it and start thinking creatively and play again. Because as we're gearing up for this reset, guys, I'm so excited. So excited. I honestly don't think I've ever been so excited to share a class with you guys. We have some really cool tools that we're going to go over. We are going to be talking about nervous system regulation, gut health, and how that all interplays into our hormones and what we can do in these perimenopausal, menopausal years, which, yeah, that's a whole soapbox because I am sick and tired of hearing that we are victim to our hormones. We are not. There's actually a lot we can do. But before we dive into that, we can't come in with that hidden tax of the emotional burden that we're carrying, the pressure, the expectations. All of that weight is what makes food feel so much harder than it needs to be. And so I want to invite you, let's do it. Let's journal together, find some space, Let's take on the day before it takes on you. And I guarantee this is really going to set you up to be in a beautiful place come September 2nd when we hit that reset button and we just make this year one of the best endings to any year we have ever lived. We will be continuing on with the Real Reset next Monday. Until then, have an amazing day. Cheers and happy eating.
If you've been with us for the past few episodes, you already know this is not your typical reset. If you're just joining us, welcome. Be sure you go back and start with episode 1. This series was built to be listened to in order for a reason. Because here's what we know by now. Your body is not failing. It just has a story to tell. And breaking the all or nothing cycle is not about trying harder or going back on the gnarly diet. It's about finally listening. We have a few episodes left before we gather together live for the Real Reset Masterclass happening on September 2nd, where you'll learn how to reconnect with your body, restore your health from the inside out, and reclaim that energy you know you still have. We just have to rediscover it. It's buried under all the things. Be sure you're following along and can access every resource mentioned by joining the Reset list. Links are in the show notes of every episode. I am so happy you are here. Your Real Reset is already underway.